Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the second session of The Forsaken Coast and the Dungeon of Graves. When we last left off, our heroes had been tasked with trying to deal with some gnolls that have been preying upon caravans that are trying to make their way to Zelkor's Ferry. They have ascertained that they were at an old ruined watchtower at the top of a ridgeline and have snuck up along the back edge of the ridge and have worked their way close to the ruins where they have in fact spied a group of gnolls hiding amongst the ruins. They crept up there relatively slowly until Ceres, dashing across from cover to cover, let loose a clatter of rocks, alerting one of the gnolls who has ventured their direction. Everybody has cowered down. Well, none of them are going to cower, but they've hidden themselves, luring the gnoll further in. And the gnoll has apparently espied Barnaby and is preparing to raise the alarm when we now start. This is a surprise round.
Excellent. If I recall correctly, Blood Moon, you were checking a javelin at it?
That is correct.
Wahahaha.
Javelin away!
Javelin away! That is lovely.
I thought you'd enjoy that.
All right.
For
Anybody
piercing damage.
Anybody else do anything in this surprise round? I'm gonna say just you three up there could do something. Alara and Barnaby are not really aware of what's going on yet.
We're drawing their attention.
Yes, that's correct. You thought you were hidden and you were wrong.
I ready my weapons.
I would also probably just ready my weapons.
All right.
I would
I
have.
take it that shot was on target.
Oh yeah, 17 certainly hits.
I hope so.
Yeah, you guys are first level after all. All right. Well, the gnoll gives an angry, blood-curdling, intruders! And you hear a yipping, barking sound coming from the ruins. And we will roll initiatives since the surprise round is done.
Right.
Ooh, 17. Nice.
Wow, look at that bullshit.
How'd you get 3.15?
Because I rolled a 1.
Oh. Still.
Because he's playing 5.5e, okay?
That's so if anybody else has the same deck, it's a checkbox for if anybody has the same turn order, it adds decks to it. So
okay, I gotcha.
Oh. Did it fully roll for me?
You rolled a 6 plus 2 is 8.
All right. It said you wanted to send the results of this roll to the turn tracker, but no valid token was selected.
yeah, you have
you have to highlight your character.
It didn't
Oh.
put you on the board.
Yeah, you have to highlight your character and then do it.
Whoops.
That's right. You want to re-roll that one anyway.
All right.
House rule is if you do not have your thing highlighted, your roll good or well, that's much better.
Wow.
Significantly better.
Substantially better. Jeremy, if you go ahead and roll, please. Highlight your character and roll initiative. It's on your character sheet.
Oh, I will roll again.
Obviously, I'm going slow because the abs need to recharge after that full-on hit.
Oh, yeah. It's important.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Somebody's missing. Alara. Laurel, you haven't rolled yet.
You did the same thing I did. You got to click on your character first.
I did 3 times. It's highlighted.
Yeah, well, it doesn't like you.
I only saw one roll.
Yes, and I was highlighted.
There you go.
Hold
All
that
right.
one roll.
You like that roll now. All right. Starting with Ferris is up. You are the first to react after the javelin thunks into the gnoll.
Right? Oh, I suppose since I'm relatively close, I'll move up and strike him with my longsword.
All right.
Two-handed, if I may.
You may.
Uh,
You certainly have the movement to make it there.
excellent. I shall move right up to him and then.
So if you could go ahead and track your movement like as you're going though, so you're moving
Oh, sure.
here, 1,
Oh, I
5,
see.
10,
1.
15, 20. You can move to 30, so you can even move to here if you want to.
I'll stay. I'll stay there. No need to get any closer to whatever's on the other side of those rocks.
Fair.
So now I will, since my character's highlighted, I should be able to just click it, and it'll do. Hey, great.
That'll do. Now just
Excellent.
click where it says longsword two-handed, and that'll be your damage.
Oh, wonderful.
Nice.
Sweet.
All right, it is grievously wounded. Laura, you're up.
Well, I know that I'm not going to get up there in time, and I'm sure that other baddies are going to appear in a minute. So, as Barnaby and I were still way here in the back, I'm going to pull out my crossbow and just try to plank him from here.
Give him a plink. All right,
That's going to miss.
that's
Solidly.
gonna miss it. It funks. He's kind of a little bit up on the slope, and the crossbow bolt funks into the kind of gravelly ground a few inches beneath his feet. Noel, huh? Well, I mean, he's going to withdraw. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's good. He's going to go there. And these other ones are going to emerge from the ruins here.
Just curious, did he use disengage or would I have an attack of opportunity
He
on
used
him?
disengage. He only moved
Excellent.
30 feet, so he disengaged. That one is going to, so he has, I'm trying to figure out how much cover these give you. So I'm going to say that this slope here is going to give this one some cover, and he comes out with so you'll have a -2 to hit you. He's going to come out, and he has a longbow in his hands, which you don't want to get hit with, but it could happen. So he has -2 to hit.
Okay.
Because I'm going to say that slope there is going to give you some cover from it. Okay.
All right.
So this cliff, you're partially obscured by the cliff where you are right now. So he comes out from the ruins and surveys the area and lets fly an arrow. And
Oh,
Oh, that
even
slightly
-2 is probably
certainly
going to.
hits.
That's going to
Well,
hit.
I have a 13 armor class.
Luckily, it only does 3 points.
Yay.
So that's the good news. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these two have come out. This one is more is closing in with the weapon. And you see some more movement around as some of them are trying to figure out what's going on in the back.
And you said how tall are these cliff markers?
They're a little shorter than man high.
Oh,
So you can get mostly complete concealment and cover if you duck. So if you duck behind them, you can completely cover yourself, or close to it. They're probably a little higher than waist high. So you guys were kind of like,
I could hoist myself up and over this thing.
yeah, I'd say. Yeah. Might take an action, but you can reach him in probably the number of moves you need to reach this guy here. So, but a skill check is an action, so you'd probably have to make a climb check, a fairly easy athletics check to hoist yourself over it, and then you'd have a move action, but you would not be able to attack. 10. You can move there in one movement, though. You can get to that guy in one move, moving through Bloodhawk and up to there if you wish to. So you can move. You have the movement to reach there if you did not wish to climb over it.
Are we at me?
No, yes, we are at you. You are up.
Oh, okay. Well, I think it'd just be more dramatic and thematic for me to vault up over the cliff and approach him. Let me roll athletics.
Look at you.
Good enough?
25.
Oh, yeah.
That's 20.
Sure, plenty. So you vault up over the top
Parkour.
and move forward. He was in fact holding an action, and if somebody closed with him, so he was ready for you to approach, and rolls a 5 and misses. Takes a wild swing at the barbarian that suddenly vaulted over and charged at him, perhaps somewhat on his heels and taken aback. He misses.
Probably has something to do with my loud spittle-filled bellowing in his ear.
All right, Barnaby, you're up.
Barnaby's kind of far away, but he will start charging toward the field and launch his javelin.
All right, so you move a good 30 feet and then go. All right. Wah, wah,
I roll a
wah.
1.
Yeah, and you roll a 1. We are not introduced critical fumbles yet. At this level, missing's bad enough. Bloodhawk, you're up.
Bloodhawk's going to move here, 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 and he is within short range, and he is going to throw another javelin. Probably does not hit with a 12.
12s do not hit. Saris.
Yes. All right. I would like to. Let's see. I think I want to move up, and actually, you know what? This one here. That
He
was
is
the one
wound-
that previously attacked me.
He
Correct?
is wounded. He is wounded and is now taking out a bow and arrow.
Okay. But I still see him. May I cast Vicious Mockery?
Why? Yeah, it's within the range. I think the range is either 30 or 60 feet. You can pull it up and tell me.
60. Yeah, 60 feet.
You may certainly do that. It is a cantrip. Feel free.
Cantrip.
Now, I would say, just as a hint, well, it would give him a disadvantage on his attack, so that's probably worth doing. Their arrows are deadly, so having him disadvantage is probably a good idea.
Yes. Yes. So I would like to cast Vicious Mockery, and then.
If you click at it, it'll bring the spell up and let us know what he needs to do. I think he gets a
Oh, I
saving
can
throw.
click on it here. Oh, excellent, excellent. Do I click on him to trigger it, or
Nope,
just?
you don't need to do anything. Just click on the spell.
Mm. Oh, that's
DC. Okay,
a lot.
2 psychic damage. Okay, so it's a.
Not a lot, but something.
All right, so he will make the save. Now, I think he takes the damage anyway, but the save is to avoid the
Disadvantage.
disadvantage of the attack. However, he only had that many hit points, so Knoll down. He is mocked to death. I didn't even think that was possible.
Ah,
You cut him to the quick with your cunning wit.
excellent.
Alara's up.
I was just gonna double move up to here.
Closing in on the range. All right. Knoll is up. There are several Knolls up. Scimitar on Vom. Still terrified of what's going on. Is Alara ducking down?
Yeah, she's gonna have to, because she has to stow her crossbow.
Okay. So I'm gonna fix. So she'll have cover if she's stuck down behind that ridge line there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that one, this is Vom. This one, I mean, Vom's the big target, man. So we're gonna get a longbow. A longbow is fired by this Knoll right here. Hits Vom. I assume that it does. What's your armor class, Vom?
13.
13. All right, I'm gonna put that in your character sheet so I can see that. Okay. Put in your token. For 7 points.
He gonna get mad.
Yeah, so can I go ahead and rage?
What you're good at.
That is kind of my thing. I don't need to make a roll for that, do I?
You do not. You get whatever benefits you get from the rage, which is plus
Plus-
damage and I think a plus on strength checks.
Yeah, it's +2, I think. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
You
So
rage. It is a bonus action, so you do not need to. You can just do it. You just announce that you're raging.
yeah, so he's in a frothing fit and wields his great axe against the gnoll.
That's a. And
Not very effectively, apparently.
Vom is frightening to behold. And so far, that's the extent of it. Barnaby, you're up.
Well, I see the two coming around from the bottom, so I will shift myself in such a way to receive their charge.
Okay. So you're going to close on those two. All right.
I forget what
Bloodhawk.
defensive does, but I do it.
Do you go defensive or are you holding an action?
I go defensive.
Go defensive. All right. So disadvantage on attacks. And Jeremy, if you're not familiar with 5e rules, if you only move 30 feet and say I'm going defensive, you just everything has a disadvantage attacking you because you're hunkering down behind your shield or just concentrating on defending.
Yeah.
Bloodhawk, my friend, you are up.
All right. That was a pretty bad hit that Vom took. So, Bloodhawk is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, which is his natural movement speed. And from there, he's going to give a little bit more javelin love. It's a 13 hit?
No, they're actually kind of hard to hit. They've got shields, and that 13 will not hit.
Well, at the same time, I see that Vom has been bleeding, and I am within close enough range to do so. Vom looks over to the side, and he is enamored by the great abs. There
Wait,
you
what?
go. 6 healing.
He just glistened in the sunlight for a moment, and it just helped his spirit.
I am inspired.
And that is my turn.
Oh my god, I love it. All right, I will.
The first one went down so easily, and the rest are a struggle. So
That sounds like dating.
yeah, it does.
All right, I will move 5, 10, 15 feet up and strike at this one yet again. Well, not this one again, but strike at this one with my longsword, two-handed. if that
Two-handed, dig in
will
there.
work with me.
Now, one other 5e thing. We do flanking rules. So if you were here, you would be flanking him. Just if you have the movement to do that.
Oh, okay. I believe I was in this one, right?
Okay.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
Wait, are you telling me I should have gotten flanking for
30?
that?
If you can move there, yeah, you'd be in flanking position on it, which is advantage attacks, which is quite useful.
25. Yes, so I would have been able to make it here.
Okay.
Oh,
Then
okay.
you attack, and you'll take the highest of the two.
All right, so I will strike at him with my longsword, held two-handed.
Whoa,
Wacha, that's a 13.
13 is
Welcome
close.
to my world.
I know, right?
You and
Here
I
comes-
both with the.
Here comes the
With that.
TPK.
Mhm.
Laura,
All
you're
right,
up.
Can I use a bonus action? Is that acceptable?
It is.
that-
What are you gonna do?
Beginning of turn. I'd like to. Oh no, I don't think this is a bonus action. Let me double check. Yep, Bardic Inspiration. I'd like to cast Bardic Inspiration on this good fellow right here, whose name escapes me. Is this Vaughn?
Bomb.
Yes. I'd like to
Bomb.
give you inspiration, good sir.
So I think it's it's D4, D6 at your level. I forgot which one it is.
D4,
Yes,
I think.
D6 it looks like.
D6.
nice.
Okay. Alara, you're up.
Oh, that's it. Cool. I want to know how to do that.
I noticed that Barnaby has turned away and gone elsewhere. So I stow my crossbow as I move down to join him.
Okay. Are you defensive or are you holding an action?
I don't think. I think I will not have any more actions left once I stow my crossbow and draw my sword.
I mean, if you just drop your crossbow and draw your sword, you can do that and still have either hold an action or be defensive. That's fine. Those are pretty minor actions. Especially just drop your crossbow. If you just plunk it on the ground and then draw your sword as you move towards Barnaby, you can do that.
Not leaving my crossbow as an
Yeah.
offering to these horrible gnolls.
All right, so you carefully open your backpack and unstring it.
No, I have a little thingy
Yeah,
on my
take-
side here that I.
She has a guitar
Okay.
case. She opens it. She places it in gently. She closes it.
All right. Okay, so well, we'll start with these gnolls here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That one will attack Barnaby. It is a disadvantage attack because he is defensive. So luckily that 5 will be a miss.
Did he mean to use a longbow?
He did not, but it doesn't matter. It's still been I concede that was the wrong button I pressed, but it's the same plus to hit, so whatever. And that one, since we have decided, that will hit.
You see, had he used a longbow, he would have missed.
4 points on Alara. This one, quite surrounded yet, but still unwounded, since you guys apparently just want to play with it for a little while. It'll stay on Vom, because Vom is big and scary, so he will miss Vom.
Has it seen my abs?
It has. Well, yes, because of the glinting and the fact that they literally shine. I'm sure distract him for at least a moment. And the one with the longbow, he's going to stay on Vom too. Because Vom's big and scary, as discussed. And we'll miss. Vom, it plunks, whistles past your ear and launches over the cliff. And finally, dun dun dun, it is your turn.
All right, fingers crossed.
Let's do this.
Roll my thingy.
Yep.
Aha!
Barnaby, your turn.
I slowly draw my sword and look at these gnolls and say, "We mean you no harm if we don't have to kill you. Surrender to us now and you shall live." And I tap the one in front of me with my sword.
No, they're evil. Just kill them, Barnaby.
Even evil deserves mercy.
No, not by Moore.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
I mean, Are you trying to intimidate them or persuade them?
Probably a little bit of persuasion, or intimidation, whichever way you'd want to go with it. But yes.
I'll ask you which one you like to do.
Being who I am, it'd be persuasion more than intimidate.
I will give you a roll.
I haven't rolled over a 5.
Yeah,
The ones are really bad so far.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It doesn't speak our language.
Bloodhawk, you're up.
Bloodhawk's going to move to a more advantageous position, and by that I mean a position which gives me advantage. And yep, let's see if we can get this one to go. Natural 20.
All right, 9 points.
Yes, sir.
Points. Nice. Saris,
All
likewise, you
I
are
will-
flanking
I will strike this bad boy with my longsword yet again.
yet again, or at
Yet
least,
again.
or die trying.
Or die trying. Knock on wood.
14.
14?
Their armor class is 15, so you are whiffing at it
I am
All
just
gonna die.
I'm
trying-
just out of measure.
I know,
Excellent.
from the first encounter. I know. It's true.
Excellent.
Alara, you are up. Do you roll your eyes at Barnaby? Of course you do. Eyes rolling, sword swinging, gnoll slashing. And the battle is joined. Laura, the one on you will strike back, and that'll hit for 4 points. The one on Barnaby, not very impressed by your attempt to parlay. Gnolls can't miss, 7 points on Barnaby, rolling a 19. Vom, you've been a little lucky with this one. Laura, who's the last one to hit it? Staying on you, Vom. And misses.
Haha.
And this one steps forward to the edge of the cliff and starts plunking arrows down at you guys down there. So, Laura, you're the nearest target. And longbow your direction and misses. Could have been worse.
Yes, it could have.
Vom, you are up, and you have a flanking position. Battle hit. Roll me some damage. +2 for rage. Just click on the word Great Axe.
Oh yeah.
That didn't work.
Should have worked. 2 + 3 + 2.
In the window, the where it says 1023, press Great Axe underneath it.
Yeah, the chat window,
Mhm.
press the word Great Axe.
Ah.
Yeah.
2 + 12 points. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we've all been waiting to see. With a savage blow, you sunder the gnoll completely in half. Both
Oh,
halves
gross.
falling into, yes, it is pretty gross. Their blood is a little on the black side. It's kind of icky.
I'm standing so close to it.
A little does get on you.
Ugh.
I'm hoping a little gets on me. Otherwise, it's not worth the entry,
Barnaby, you are up. The gnoll said no in a fairly physical fashion to you.
Oh.
Solid
No means no.
blow, my foe. However, I must kill you now. And I attack the one that Alera hit.
I mean, focusing fire is not a bad strategy. 10 points of slashing. Nice. Not quite dead, but it is resoundingly hit.
Pow.
Bloodhawk, you're up.
All right. Well, 5, 10, 15, 5, 30. Surprise. 23.
23. Are you just stabbing with just using a stabbing weapon, right? You're not throwing it.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. You're fragile, Mr. Bloodhawk. Do you remember that? Saris, you're up.
All right. I would like to. I think I'll move a little bit closer. So 5, 10. I'll move here-ish. Well, hold on. Yeah, I'll move here-ish. And I just like to cast Dissonant Whispers on this one. I'm wanting to try all the things,
Yep. Does it whispers? You got it.
Cast at first level. All right, I didn't do that. So
And
he needs to make a save.
DC 13. First off, it does 11 points of psychic damage, which isn't good for anybody. He will make his wisdom save. But it does. I believe it does. Can you bring the spell up, please? Because I think it does half damage.
Drop it here. So
On a fail, saves 3d6.
and
On
then
a
it has
successful
the
save,
one.
takes half as much damage. So it'll take 5 points of damage.
All right, that's not so bad.
Yeah, it is a good uh-oh spell. It just didn't work that time, which is
Yeah,
fine.
that's all right.
Alara, back into the fray. The one in front of you is bleeding. Has been slashed by.
Or a 14?
What's
Would they have 14?
armor class 15. All right. Null on Alara. I'm gonna have him disengage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He backs away cautiously. The one on Barnaby swings on Barnaby and misses. This one has a bow in hand, drops the bow. I'm gonna say it pulls a dagger out very quickly, and I don't have a dagger on here, but I'll just roll quick damage for it. So it stabs at Bloodhawk with a kind of rusty looking iron dagger that it has at its right hip, like kind of overhand style. Draws it and stabs. That'll hit.
Yes, it will.
D4 plus 1 with 2 points of damage.
Okay.
And that is all they got. Vom, you're up.
All right. What I'd like to do is charge past Saris and try to tackle this guy off the cliff.
Okay. All right. It is a so you make a kind of a grappling attack.
Yeah.
Make an attack roll. It's not on the charts, but it's a roll a d20, add your strength bonus, just normal stuff. 5e doesn't model. That'll do it. So you grapple him and go plunging off the cliff is the idea?
Yep.
Endeavoring to land on top of him?
Yep.
Use him like a big gnolly pillow?
By God.
All right. Make a either I'll give you either your choice of athletics check or acrobatics check on that, whichever you have better at. All right. I was going to make a DC 12 on that, so I'll give you a 14. I'll roll. I'll do D8 damage as it hits the ground roughly, and you land on top of him. So a bit more than the fall would do. 2 points, not quite as satisfying as you wanted.
Nope,
But
but dramatic.
But he is prone. That's the important thing. He is prone. So
And
until
surprised.
So until he stands up, he is. It's an advantage to hit him. Prone things are advantage to hit. Barnaby, you're up.
I hold out my sword toward my foe and I say, "Your friend is prone, your other is withdrawing. I give you a chance to leave the field." I hold my action. If he makes an offensive move, I will attack him.
I yell at Barnaby, "You are a paladin of battle! Engage!"
And we'll get a little echo off your system there. I'm not sure.
It's just a raging scream inside of her. It's not really an echo.
Bloodhawk, you are up.
Well, because I'm a dick. You said he's prone, right?
He is prone.
All right. Well, I am going to, from advantage, a massive whip of thorns juts out from my arm, and I'm going to pull it up and then let the whip go so it falls.
It is a melee. It is a melee spell attack, so it does.
It's a 30-foot.
Yeah, and it is a melee. So if it's a range attack, you'd actually have a disadvantage. But it is a melee. It is a melee spell attack. That's very clever.
Yep.
So you do hit and
Pull him 10 feet closer, which is not how tall this is because it's taller. So he drops.
so are you going to? I'm just going to move on out of the way for a second. So that's 3 points of damage. And where do you wish to move him to?
He's gonna have to move towards me, so he's gonna get pulled up the side of this cliff.
Ooh.
But it's higher than 10 feet. So
No, it's not. It's not higher than 10 feet. It's like 4 or 5 feet.
Oh, I thought it was higher.
I described it earlier. They're like a little higher than waist size. If you crouch behind it, you can get cover.
That's all right. I am the predator. Why not?
Get over here.
Okay, 10 feet closer. Okay. Saris, you're up. He is still prone. So Saris, just to give you a hint, he pulled him up, he's on the ground. He was dragged roughly up the cliff and deposited by this thorn whip that Bloodhawk created. He is still on the ground, and if you were to close next to Bloodhawk and attack, you'd have an advantage on the attack against a prone opponent.
All right. Yeah, I think that's what I would do. I was planning on like trying to clamber down where everybody is, but now we've got people back up here, so I guess I'll move to attack. So would here be considered flanking? I'm still getting used to the
You don't- you
flanking
don't-
rules.
As of this moment, you don't need to flank. You can move. You can move there and make an attack, and because he's prone, he's
Alright.
lying down. You still have an advantage on the attack.
Then I will make my longsword attack from right there. That, so I will strike at him, 2 hands. For neither of those are gonna hit. Never mind. Wait, no, it's well, yeah, it's advantage, so I still wouldn't hit.
That is a miss. Alara.
Alas.
I'm gonna move over here.
Ah, okay. Achieving a flanking position. Ooh,
Nice. Good job, Laurel.
13 points. All right, gnolls. Yeah, things are looking a little rough. Oh wait, this one that ran away last turn, he actually is going to start plunking arrows. So this one's going to, he gets to his feet, which is half a move, and he will withdraw 1, 2, 3. He will withdraw that far. This one, he withdrew 30 feet and is going to fire an arrow at Alara, which is kind of a dick move, but that's the way it goes. 6 points.
I go down.
Alara goes down.
Like a sack of hammers.
Vom, you are up.
10, 15.
Okay, so my move is 30. Do I get any sort of bonus for charging or running or anything like that?
Yeah,
Or
there is not
you
a charging rule in standard 5e.
Okay, so it's 30 feet regardless.
If you, yeah, there's not a. I mean, I think that there could be like a move and a half, make an attack rule if you like move in a straight line, but the rules do not contemplate that as written. I don't mind
Okay.
house ruling it in the future, but especially if you want to play that way, I'd like to facilitate the way that you want to play. So,
Well, there's a guy in front of me at a greater distance, and I'm
you mean that one
guy.
there? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So you want to make a charge attack.
Yes.
Okay. So I would say you can go more than 30 feet and charge, but we can cobble together a house rule in this, and so why don't we say that a charge attack must go more than your movement distance, but we can make a house rule on that, and you can get an advantage on your attack, but anything that you pass can have an attack of opportunity as you go by, and until it's your turn again, things have an advantage on hitting you. How's that sound?
Fair enough. It's looks like 7 squares, 35 feet.
Okay. So you go straight line, and we'll codify that later. So you charge ahead and plow into him, and I'll give you an advantage on the attack. If you pass anything on the way, they'd get attack of opportunity, and until it's your turn again, you will get things will have an advantage on attacking you, but that's not going to happen because it is probably going to be quite dead. Roll me some damage. That's 13 points, which is considerably more than he has. And that one goes down again, struck asunder by your now bloodied great axe. Barnaby, you are up.
So the one between me and Alara, did it do anything?
Oh, I think I skipped him. My bad. Yes, it whacked you with a scimitar and missed. Oh, okay. There you go. Then you would have attacked first. So go ahead. 3, and then you can get another action now. Sorry, I missed that.
It's okay. And then I will attempt to finish it off to then help my ally.
You are not flanking though because she is unconscious, and that's a miss. Bloodhawk, you're up.
Bloodhawk looks at Saris, points to the one that's up on the ridge with us, and says, "Kill that." And then goes 5, let me turn him, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And he flankingly stabs with the bone javelin for 9 piercing into the thing's back. And then as Alara's on the ground, her eyes kind of flutter up and she looks up and the
No, I don't.
abs, they
I'm
glow.
unconscious.
They glow. Oh no.
Totally
abs,
unconscious.
the abs for 6 healing. They bring you
Minus
back to life.
unconscious.
She
I think
Barnaby,
she'd rather
you
die.
you see Bloodhawk blaze past you, slip behind the gnoll, and suddenly its heart is ripped from its chest by the bone javelin, and it goes down gurgling. And Saris, you were up, tasked with finishing off the last one.
I'm gonna give it my best shot.
Give it
So I'm gonna
give it the old college try.
the old war college try. So 5, 10, 15, move right up, and we're gonna smack him with the longsword.
And that is going to be a miss.
I'm gonna miss again. All right.
All right, Alara, you your eyes flutter open as you barely glimpse a steely 6-pack as is concealed against pine robes.
Probably prone with a splitting headache.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Probably prone with a splitting headache. So I'll get my ass off the ground.
All right, getting up is half a move. You're gonna go anywhere? You have 15 feet of movement left, or more if you wish to do more moving.
Move away from the elf.
All right, Vom, you're up.
Mm. I'm confused. There's nothing in front of me to kill.
You're aware that there's something going on over there, and you have the movement to reach that in your movement and get a flanking position on it.
Well, then I will take advantage of that.
Yeah, right.
Must smash.
You can get right there.
Well, or whiff, one of the two.
Yep.
You have an advantage, so you have the 15 counts because you're in that
case.
because you're on either side of her. All right, 16 points is a lot for these guys, and the last one is slain. All is quiet. The corpse of gnolls in various states of bleeding and quivering lie in the ground everywhere.
Bloodhawk will make sure they're dead and then retrieve his javelin that was stuck in the one's chest that was over here.
Sounds good.
And I'd like to clamber down. You said these weren't particularly tall.
Yeah, a little higher than waist high,
Right.
4 or 5 feet.
Well, I'll make my way carefully down so I don't fall. And I'd like to come over here and just double check. Alara, are you all right?
I'll live.
Do you want a bit of healing?
Shake my head.
I'm
Yeah.
going to use my knife to dig out some canines.
If
for
we're
my
not
necklace.
immediately going back to town, I'd be more useful if I had some. Yes, Saris. Thank you.
All right. So I will take a moment to cast Cure Wounds. Put up. Level 1. For
Nice.
9.
That's a good roll.
Put me up.
So Bloodhawk, you see that they have a kind of a rudimentary little camp. Really, is probably the best word for it. There's some probably flea-ridden bedrolls there. A slightly smoldering banked campfire. Some trade-looking goods, like things that may have been looted from some passing caravans. Probably a box of foodstuffs. Maybe a small cask of some sort. next to that, but not a particularly large amount of things that are here.
I'll pick up the cask.
All right.
It must be giving everything to the keep.
Hey, Vom.
Mm.
He holds out a big cask or a small cask for you.
It is looking at the markings on it and the maker's mark, it looks like it's a cask of probably fairly decently fine brandy. A large amount when it comes to brandy, to be honest.
Look what I found.
Ah.
After they're done desecrating the corpses, I'll put them in a peaceful laid down position and do the equivalent of a last rites over the bodies.
Like, you put them in a position of repose.
Evil. They're evil.
That
You
matters
should
not.
burn them. Fire. Fire will purify it.
I like the way you think.
All right, I am going to go and look at the other direction and see if I can see the castle or the remains of the castle from here,
I'll move
the
you
other
to that map.
side.
Okay.
Hmm.
Let's go to the big map.
Okay.
So you guys are. I'll take away that ridgeline thing there. You guys are here, looking westward.
Yes.
All right, and you see from this high vantage point, you see quite a few miles in all directions. There's a pretty good bit of forest right here. One thing that strikes you as you're staring at that forest and kind of surveying the area, that little bit of woods has kind of a troubling aspect to it as you're looking at it. The center of it, it's it's a couple miles across, maybe a mile and a half, but it just seems to be darker as it goes more and more towards the center. And it's like the center of that forest is preternaturally dark looking.
All right, since I know it's going to do no good to ask the other two holy people, from the opposite side, you hear, Saris, come look at this.
And I'll make my way over there. What do you think
Blood.
that is?
Blood Moon points down and says, "Oh, that's not natural. I would have to say that the gnolls probably have seen this, and it might be something they've done. There might be more to this than we know. It's worth investigating. We have to go to the castle anyways, but
Castle's here.
I would suggest that we cross the river, not using the road, in case there is another gnoll patrol, and see what it is in that forest for ourselves."
A little
between-
bit out of the way. Do you think that would matter? Might delay us some.
If it's something that we're going to have to deal with on the way back, we might as well take care of it before we go.
Fair.
This all could be connected.
All right. I trust your instincts.
The others
everybody-
should probably rest here while we have the opportunity.
Everybody gets
And-
100 experience for the gnolls, by the way, total.
Oh.
No. Mm.
You do see there's quite a hilly, a forested hill over here, and backed up against the hill, kind of on a little plateau. But still fairly low on it on the southern side, and facing south. You see it is hard to make out. You can see a ruin of some sort there, which you assume is this castle that they mentioned that has been taken over by goblins. To your south is probably the largest hill in the area, is rising above a fairly large and dense woodland that extends further to the south for quite a few miles, almost beyond your vision.
Blood Moon will pull out a elongated piece of leather that he's using as a map, and he will update the map with a set of what look like bone tools. carving into it new locations and things that he has seen.
The northern bank is pretty forested. This is a very large creek or small river that flows into it. And you see the trail leads up to Zelkor's Ferry and then resumes on the opposite side of that large creek. You notice that remember when you were in Zelkor's Ferry, you noticed that there was a very large rowboat that seems to have represented a ferry service that goes across this body of water. Probably pay a small fee and get across it. And this, as I said earlier, a very large hill here, otherwise bare. Some scrub and grass on it, but mostly bare. Rises considerably above the forest and there's other ways around it. The forest is a bit thinner to the north and then surrounds it and then continues to the south. So that is what you see from this vantage.
Shall we
What do you
set up
got?
some kind of camp and rest for a while and then
You could take a short
continue on?
rest. That would be an option you guys could do.
What do the rest of you think?
Is tired.
And I think a rest would be in order.
That means Vom needs to sleep for at least a sunset.
Oh, you guys gonna go back to town?
Why not stay here? No reason not to. If more gnolls come, or things to kill that shouldn't be here.
I'm fine with that. Keep an eye out.
I mean, the reality is that it's still early in the day. It's not even noon yet.
Then we could continue on, unless Vom is tired.
If you take a short rest, you can spend a hit die and get a hit die's worth of hit points back if you guys are down in hit points. There you go.
No, I just need to recover from raging. That's all.
Oh, okay. Short rest will do
Oh,
that.
short rest then.
Okay, we take a short rest. I mean, it's an hour or so that you're picking up, getting things from the corpses and looking through the belongings, all that, discussing your options,
Yeah.
kind of quietly chilling for a little bit.
Um,
Is everybody at full health at this point?
Almost.
Yes.
I'm looking for where I need to roll for that.
Okay, so if you look at your character sheet,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking. Is it on the first page? Is it under?
so there's a thing that says and just click on that,
Oh, there it is. Excellent.
and you get 6 points back.
Excellent.
So you guys are probably pretty close to full. All right, but do decrease your hit die. So you at this point you have 0 quote unquote hit dice left. So you don't have those to spend at your next short rest. You get your hit dice come back. You get half your hit dice back at first level. You get your hit dice back after a long rest.
Okay.
The math becomes a little bit more complicated as you go up in levels. But right now you only have 1 hit die, so you have no more to spend on a short rest. So my house rule is that you can spend only 1 hit die on a short rest, and you can spend as many hit dice as you want on a long rest. So I do like a bit more resource management in my games. And that's a suggested rule as well. It's not just purely a house rule. Okay, you guys take a little short rest. Everybody is feeling much better. And does anybody get any spells back in short rests?
No, only mages.
Only mages? Okay.
Yeah.
But I think your rages come back, or bardic inspirations, whatever things that you have that are recovered in a short rest, those are recovered. And
No, just he doesn't get any rages back, but he still has one.
he still has 1. All right. What do you guys wish to do?
Explore the darkness.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that is an option.
Blood moon. Strike a direction.
So
I'm
Blood Moon
gonna-
is avoiding the ford.
Yes, I'm gonna look for a place for us to cross. Would you like
Alright.
that is not there? Would you like a survival roll or something, or you just
I
want?
would say give me a survival roll. The nature of the survival roll determines how good a spot you found. So you find a sequence of incredibly slippery looking algae covered rocks going across the creek, which is really a fairly swift and somewhat deep creek. But there are the best place that you found was a sequence of highly algae covered stones.
I look back and realize that the people wearing armor will not be able to do that. So we'll keep going down further.
That's since you are now just sort of spending some time here. See if something untoward happens or stumbles into you while you are poking around. I forgot whether whether it made the chart a high or a low. If it's high, well, we'll see. Oh, it's a D10, that's right. Okay. It is all as quiet, other than the sound of the creek that is raging past you. You may make another check, please.
A raging creek.
That creek is pissed.
I have seen raging creeks. There you go. That's what you were looking for. There is a lone tree that was where the creek right here had kind of recently undercut the bank somewhat, and this tree has fallen. It was quite a mighty tree in its day. The tree has completely fallen, going from bank to bank. There's a few branches here and there which are not really in the way. In fact, would probably give a person more opportunities to steady themselves as they cross. It will be a DC 5, either acrobatics or dexterity check to cross.
How about athletics?
Or athletics, sure. Usually balanced stuff is considered to be an acrobatics check.
I look back at the group and say, this would probably be the easiest for those of you wearing heavy armor. And I head across.
Doop, 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 doop. All right. I'm gonna say actually it's gonna be an acrobatics check. So it's acrobatics or.
Well, I did it.
You did it.
I did it. All right.
All right.
Acrobatics, I will follow along carefully. Oh no.
White, the bomb just strides across boldly. Barnaby.
That's what you're looking for. My third one.
I reach back and grab Barnaby before he falls the fuck over.
Vom with a 24. What you're going to have to do is probably go in after him, to be honest. So you jump in after Barnaby, who is struggling to stay above, to keep his head above water, and with a mighty grunt, launch yourself into the creek, grab him about his chest and shoulders, and swims to shore with him and deposits him back in the bank, and gives him a stern look.
Thank you, my wild friend. The Lord hath decided that I needed a bath today.
So Blood Moon rolls a 3. I
I
rolled 5.
yeah,
Sarah's rolled
make
4.
a ward.
Like you can't make this shit up.
So roughly a half a mile away, there is the edge of the forest begins. What is that from?
Like,
I'm just testing it. I'm gonna resend that to you, Jeremy, and you can try that one.
All right.
I'm gonna have to send it to you via Facebook, though.
All right.
Are you guys going to press into the forest
I would like to,
Yes.
yes. I will be following Blood Moon. Do you think, and Saris will say this to Blood Moon, do you think we should go in a bit carefully? Do you have any idea what that could be, the darkness inside this forest?
I think we should go quietly and as sneakily as we can. I'll stay ahead of you all to see if I
Caspian
can
says
find
that
it
while,
first.
as sneakily as you can, burying a look back at Barnaby and Alara.
I clang my bells, get my gong upon my back.
Blood Moon will, since he's faster than them anyways, he will move forward. There you go.
Right.
Since Blood Moon is faster, he will head ahead of them by a good 40, 50 feet. And he is going to attempt a stealth. Be stealthy, that is.
Be stealthy.
Yes. So.
I believe in you.
Glad one of us does. Not the worst stealth roll.
What would roll?
13.
13. I mean, you are being something like stealthy. I'm sorry, give me 1 second.
And Saris will keep Blood Moon in sight, but make sure that he stays, she keeps a good distance from him, but is trying to follow somewhat in his path, also as stealthily as she can manage.
Okay. Make a roll, please. The woods is quite silent. Every sound of you pressing past a twig or a leaf or a branch, stepping even on some dry leaves just seems to make almost an unbearable amount of noise. And as you go further and further into the woods, it gets darker and darker until it reaches a point where it almost becomes just a little bit less than the dark of night. And the underbrush and the trees start to seem like they're almost deliberately interfering with you. As you push in, thorns and branches and brambles, they tug at you, they trip you, they make the going even more and more slow. And I'm going to go ahead and move you to a map.
Grab a drink.
As you continue to towards the center of the woods, a cabin starts to come into view.
Okay, I will put my hand up behind me, and so they can see to stop.
I can't see him.
And I will fall back to the others and explain that there's a cabin ahead.
Activity, life, smoke.
It's a stone cabin with a thatched roof, decently sized. There appears to be a garden on the north side of it, surrounded by a fence made of bones, and at the ends of some of the bones that have been sharpened into almost like stakes, there are skulls stuck through.
The cabin's not made of candy, is it?
It is not. No, it is not made of candy.
Good. I feel better already.
Is
That
there
is
an
what-
I'm gonna take a quick look
Oldsmobile
at
Delta 88 outside?
Are you going to go sneak through there? Or what are you going to do?
Oh, of course I'm going to sneak, but I'm going to look around for any wolf tracks because I know the rumor of the druid, and I can't imagine that this would be her place. But if the stories are true, I'm going to look for amounts of wolf tracks on the ground.
You make a tracking roll.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to use guidance. Commune with the earth, all that sort of hippie, tofu-eating kind of bullshit that I do. Let's see here.
He rubs his abs.
He
That's
rubs
right.
his abs.
All right. Well, make a go ahead and make a tracking roll or whatever. I think it's survival skill.
It's survival, yeah.
And with that, roll a stealth as you try to be quiet while doing that.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Well, quite the good tracking, but not the best stealth. Did you roll 4? Is that what you did there? Oh, with guidance. So you rolled an 8. Okay. Really, you don't get very far while tracking before you see a great big footprint. It is a bare foot, and the foot is quite deeply set into the ground, and it is probably 18 to 24 inches long. Big, wide feet, splayed, massive toes.
I speak giant. I'm pretty sure this is probably a giant. I don't think it's that hard to pull.
Sounds like a Bigfoot to me.
I'm going to turn back to them and say, I'm going to guess that a giant is patrolling this area, or whatever is inside is a giant.
Yeah, the
in
cottage
a different form.
The cottage is quite large. It has a pretty big sized doorway.
Ah,
Well, maybe the cottage is the home of a giant then. I've never killed a giant before.
The doorway to it is, probably like 9-10 feet tall. Not 18-20 feet tall. Somewhere in that range.
well, I'm pretty sure that they're not in the mood for talking, looking at the skulls around the outside.
Yeah, I'm guessing that you guys have kind of regrouped. Oh, I told you to turn the lights on, which I'll do. We can do we can be done with the creepy stuff. There we go. Everybody should be able to see now.
Hey.
Yay! Okay.
But we can try speaking to the giant first.
Wait, what? I mean,
What?
sure. Yeah, I mean, but so I'm going to assume that you guys have kind of regrouped back at the corner of the map here to have this discussion.
Unless Vom, you'd like to kill a giant?
I
mean,
would
it
very
is
much like to kill a giant.
Survival of the fittest, right?
It will prove that we are apex predators.
We could try to avoid it, potentially.
What if it's the source of this darkness?
Well, okay. You can talk to it first.
What if it's holding the darkness at bay?
Well, if we can find it.
What if it's not even home?
What if it
Then
is?
we eat what's in the larder.
All right, here is what we will do. I am going to move up. Are there windows, Devin?
To
Yeah,
the windows.
there are shuttered. I mean, they're not closed, but there's no glass in them. There are shutters and there's windows. Sure.
I would suggest, Vom, you move up to the trees nearby, and along with Barnaby and Alora. You have a bow, Saris?
I do not.
Then I say the 4 of you stay together, the nearest tree. I will move up and take a look inside and let you know what I see. All right, now.
There we are.
All right, now I'm going to stealth up.
You hope.
Ah, God, I really hope.
Yeah, your plan is to stealth up. I get that.
My plan is to stealth up. We'll see how the how the dice feel. Dice are not really feeling it. So
So you rolled a
apparently the grounds are fighting against the druid. So
so you
I rolled a
you
10.
rolled a 10. All right. The door is shut. Some of the shutters are open. It is a fairly large cabin. It looks like a single roomed thing. There's a vegetable garden surrounded by that fence on the northeastern side. The door is facing you right here, and the windows are along the side of this thing right here.
The windows are over here, you said?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to go up. Is the opening to the window higher than I'm standing?
So you kind of got on tippy toes. You can maybe put your little nose over and take a peek in there.
All right, I will do so.
All right. Inside, cooking, mussing about in a large kitchen, is a large giant. You get a female impression from it. A large, heavy looking, slightly clumsy seeming humanoid.
He's just big boned.
Probably 9-10 feet tall. Heavy, very strong looking. She's puttering about in the kitchen, making a stew of some sort with ingredients that one probably should not question or look at too carefully.
Safe to assume that those ingredients look like pieces of humans.
Well, I
or
mean, you're not really
humanoids.
that close, but
We know for all we know.
that could be. Ogres are equal opportunity consumers. They're ravenously hungry. If it is an ogre, it's not a bad guess.
All right.
I mean, as you know about ogres, they it would be nearly impossible for it to hit you and not kill you.
Right. That's why I'm heading back to the party.
But she did not notice you.
All right. Well, I'm going to come back. All right. There's a single female giant inside, or something that looks of giant kin to some extent. She's cooking someone for dinner.
Something.
They're already dead. I have a new idea.
There's a garden.
Looking at the structure of her,
We could burn the place down.
Her recipe book says how to serve man.
I'm pretty sure that the size of her arms and the strength behind them would be enough to, if not critically injure one of us, get us very close to death.
We could burn the place down.
Why?
You think?
Oh, we shouldn't burn the place down.
And should we sneak by and then hope to come back with more people later?
From a distance, as long as she's not attacking, waylaying parties on the road. Maybe she's keeping the gnolls in check.
Mom is bored. Are there more gnolls to kill?
Yes. A whole keep full.
What about this darkness?
So we should bring more people and investigate it after we take care of whatever's going on in the keep.
Very well. I'll mark the place on my map, and we'll bypass it and go to the keep.
All right. You wisely, in my opinion, bravely ran Sir Robin, move onward. So you're fine. Just because it's there, doesn't mean that you can necessarily face it. So that is a fine thing you did there. Returning back to the larger map.
I think we can face anything. We may not survive it though.
Vom,
You
Vom,
divert.
he may talk it to death.
Let's say you make a kind of a broad circle around it and come out the northern edge of the hills. It's getting towards maybe 3 or 4 in the afternoon now.
Vom is tired.
You could probably be to the keep, and especially if you just go straight across at the ford, which you can see from here is fairly open and not a lot of room for anything to ambush you there. You could probably be at the keep in an hour from where you are right now.
Do you think we should cross the river and make our way closer and make camp for the evening? I know Vom keeps complaining that he's tired.
Well, he will always complain he's tired.
He's like,
fair.
he's like,
Alright.
After a day of raging.
I'm now hungry.
I'm
He's like-
also a bit
he's like-
peckish.
he's like Appa over there, you know. Oh. What are you guys
Then
gonna do?
I say
Vom
we
likes food.
that's not a problem, Vom. I'll take care of it.
Shall we cross the river first and then make camp?
Yes.
Not want to make camp in full view of the keep.
I will say that this map is. Each of these is an hour, a mile across, so you can find a small copse or something where you can get some concealment and settle down. So don't just believe that just because the squares are blank that there's not something in them.
Okay.
Wide open flat plain.
Yes, not just this uniformly flat plain. We are showing you the places that are densely forested. There'll be small copses of trees here and there across this area. But a survival check made by your best survival person can find a good camping site.
15?
15 is not bad. Sure. How often is that guidance? How does that thing work? What's the purpose of it? And
It's literally for the next action you do. It lasts for 1 minute. It's a cantrip, so I never run out of it.
okay. Touch one with a creature. I'm willing. Okay. One ability check. All right. So survival check is not an ability check. It is a skill check.
It is an ability check. Ability checks do cover skills. They do
All right.
not cover saving throws. Anything that is technically based off of an ability, but they do not affect saving throws.
Okay. We'll move on. I'll take a look at it later. But you may be right. I'm not gonna make a ruling right now. So you find a little spot on the other side of the river, not too far from the water, where you think you can have a reasonable shot of staying out of view, and probably you look around and there's not a lot of game trails going back and forth. You feel reasonably okay about the spot. So I'll roll. I will roll for encounters, but okay. I'll just make one encounter roll because he found a pretty good spot. The night goes by, and you wake up the next morning.
I provide my own food, and for
Okay.
Vom and the others.
Yeah. Okay. You have a river nearby. You do some. You make a little seine and seine some fish out. Find some wild roots and other edibles, and everybody gets a little meal that you prepare from the country that provides for you. So the night goes by fairly uneventfully. It is a nice little spot. You sleep under the stars, and you wake the next morning, have a little bit more fish and roots, and you are ready to go. You are surveying now this hill. It is mostly forested on the north face and up to the crown of it. It is relatively bare on the southern face.
Hmm.
There are some trees around that southern face, but it is forested on the crown of it and forested on the north side and spilling a bit out into the plains and past the hill. So, what is your plan of approach?
I say we use the tree line, which would also give us a good view from the hilltop down into the castle, so we can see what's ahead of us.
Okay, so you're gonna go. Show me where you're gonna go. Go ahead and move your token.
And that's going to be the approach.
Okay.
But we'll be able to see the from above at least to get an idea of what's going on.
Gotcha. So you are kind of moving across to the crown of this hill, and you do. At first, you smell it, and then you see a kind of right at the crown, kind of working your way along. Just gonna move you to this map real quick. Near the crown of the hill, there is a kind of a low escarpment, not much more than head high. And there is a right at the sort of it overhangs a bit. And the earth is built up along the north side of it, and on the southern side of this escarpment there is a narrow little crevice or cave. But even before you reach there, it smells very strongly of like ammonia. You get this really strong, unpleasant scent from it. As you are working your way along, you see this to your north. Everybody's load. Map is everybody loaded for everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay.
I think we found the ogre's bathroom.
Ugh.
You guys did
Yeah.
find 40 gold pieces between all the gnolls in the last encounter. Forgot to. I rolled that. I forgot to emphasize it to you. What do you guys want to do?
So that's 9 gold pieces, 2 silver for each person.
The just to the south of you, as you're working way along, is where the tree ends, and move a little further, and you can look down into the keep below. This is just something that's up here, and I'm just bringing it to your attention.
Okay.
Shall we carry on around this horrifying area? This horrifying smell?
Definitely something living in there.
Smell
Can
bad.
I make a nature check and see if that might be something natural? that
Oh, I'm
you're-
certain it's natural.
You can make a
Cat
roll.
like, lizard like.
19.
You know, some bats might make some kind of similar leavings
Ew.
and smell similar to that.
Okay. So like a guano-y kind of.
Yeah, maybe
Ugh.
maybe a little stronger than that, but yeah, that's your impression that you got.
All right. Maybe a bat cave.
Or wyvern, you know.
Probably not good to go down there. I don't think a wyvern could fit through the crevice.
Yeah, it would, not,
Anything with bat wings.
it would absolutely not fit through the crevice. The crevice is way too narrow for that.
All right,
Even a man-sized creature probably have to squeeze into it.
I'm gonna
Ooh,
spy the castle from here.
All right. Well, you're gonna like this because I have a super awesome. Because I kind of figured you're gonna do this.
Ooh, there's a picture.
There is a picture. I made an overhead map of the place, so you can look down into it.
Aw, yeah.
Because I knew you were gonna do this.
Devin spoiling us.
I know. Tell ya.
Oh no, it's all
So
dark.
black.
Is it black?
Yes.
Paint it black.
I guess I'll have to move you guys to the. I'll have to move you to the map, even if you're not on it.
And I want it to turn black.
Let me grab you guys real quick and move you to it.
No colors anymore.
Although you guys are, you can see the other map just fine.
Yep,
It's kind of weird. All right.
not this one.
All right. Well, I'll move your little tokens to it.
Dynamic lighting working as intended.
9 out of 10 times.
It's incredibly dynamic.
Did I mention we took blind sight? Oh,
Ooh, it's
Alright.
popping in.
All right. You guys are not where you necessarily are. I moved you to it so you can see.
Oh my.
Okay. So you're looking down at this.
Hmm.
It is
Very simple.
It is relatively simple. There is a large manor house right here that you can look down upon. There are a number of somewhat dilapidated towers. The towers are not crenellated. They have little cone style roofs. And they're not really, the towers seem to be looking mostly over the courtyard. They kind of join the roof along the north side. They're kind of built into it, if that makes sense. Large tower, again, with a roof on it, and a very dilapidated, collapsed looking tower at the northwest corner. There are several outbuildings, workshops, stables, things like that, perhaps over here. And there's some smoke coming from, looks like a building or of some sort built into the wall here. There's a chimney that emerges from here, and there's a fair amount of black smoke that's coming from it. And you hear a distant sound of ting 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 coming from this courtyard. I can move them in there. You see milling about near the entrance where the drawbridge is. The drawbridge is no longer operating. It has been kind of put together, and as far as you could tell, it's hard for you to get a view of it because there's a wall around it. But there's a looks like a cobbled together drawbridge replacing the original one. And milling about in this courtyard area, there are a pair of gnolls. And they're kind of hanging out.
well,
Yeah.
Vom.
Sort of guarding the entrance. You see a door on the tower here. You can see that from this side. Obviously, you can't see anything along the southern face of this building. And there's a door leading to this tower here. And that is what you see from the top of the hill looking downward.
I think we could kill them.
I'm fairly certain we could kill them.
We don't know how many are in there. There could be hundreds of them stashed away in this place for all we know.
If we're willing to fight on the bridge, we'd have an advantage.
Then we would have to kill the others.
Yes.
Well, they would no longer be a threat to the region.
I like this plan.
And that is what you can see from here.
Should we look around
The
a little
others had
closer, see if
bows.
there's
It's
any
likely
break?
they'll have men with bows.
Should we look to see if there are any breaks in the walls if we were to get a little closer, maybe. Not
Oh,
sure.
what is the quality of? I mean, you have a pretty good vantage point here. So if you want to ask more specific questions, I'm here to answer them for you.
All right. Would I? Well, I suppose then the question would be: would I see any breaks in the walls or anywhere where it looks like we might be able to weasel our way in without coming up straight up the front gate?
The wall is largely intact.
All right.
Um,
And I think the bridge might be our best option. What do the rest of you think?
I mean, it is not. The wall is, I mean, decently tall. It's about 25-foot tall wall surrounding it. It does not have room for. There's not a walkway on it, so and you don't see anybody patrolling the walls. This section here is it is not a patrolled section. I just didn't put it in there. There is a tiled kind of sloping roof on this section here. So none of the walls have people on top of them patrolling them.
Are there any sort of arrow slits on the back walls?
Click where we're talking about. I'll be happy to help you out.
Like back over here, are there any sorts of arrow slits?
I'm not seeing.
In the very, very northmost, she's clicking.
Oh, up here?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, this is backed all the way. This is backed up to a cliff. Yeah, so this is a cliff. From here back is a cliff. You guys are looking down a cliff, and this structure is built from the cliff. So the cliff is providing its back end of support of safety, unless somebody wanted to try clambering down the cliff.
I could climb down the cliff.
The rest of us couldn't.
Oh, okay.
I could fall down the cliff.
I could throw you down the cliff.
They'd never see that coming.
Yeah, the walls are 25 feet tall. The manor house is probably a little, the peaked roof of it is probably a little higher than that by another 10 or 15 feet. The towers, again, probably jutting above these walls by a similar amount. And that's the situation. You don't see any windows on any of the structures that are facing you.
Like in these towers here.
These towers, these towers are built. They meet the roof. So this roof kind of merges into that roof until it starts to slope down further, and then there's more and more separation as the roof slopes away from it. You follow what I'm saying?
Mm.
That was a
That makes
non-committal.
sense.
That was a
Makes sense
non-committal
to me.
grunt, but okay. Yeah, so it's this roof and that roof meet, and as it slopes to the south, you get more and more separation as this roof kind of moves away from the roof of the tower. So there's probably, the top floor of the tower is probably exposed on the south side, but there's no windows on the north side.
Right. And we're not going to know anything about over here until we come over there. So
It was probably described. I may have missed it. Is this moaty around it? It kind of looks like.
No, the only moat is there is a I wouldn't call it a moat, but there's a large ditch that is being spanned by that dilapidated looking bridge that was maybe the remnants of the old drawbridge and then has been kind of rebuilt with more timbers and branches and stuff.
Gotcha. I was just trying to see what the difference was in that terrain. Gotcha.
Well, since it seems like that climbing up and over the wall would probably end in a few broken ankles. Should we make our way close to the wall and around to the front and try and cross over the bridge? Or
Sounds like
perhaps lure the two guards there out?
I have an idea for doing so.
I don't like the
Hey.
idea of crossing the bridge, because what if they close it?
Well, what if there's 1,000 gnolls hiding inside that building? We'll never know.
So you talk about closing
don't-
the drawbridge?
I think they can.
Mhm.
Yes.
There are no chains or ropes or anything to the drawbridge or any kind of a winch. It is a fixed drawbridge.
No,
It's
no
not-
gate, no fence, no spikes. Foolish
you-
gnolls.
Yeah, foolish is correct. This castle, this manor house, is very dilapidated.
They probably wouldn't think anybody would come to remove them from here. No one's done it so far. Why would they be worried? We could lure them outside of
Tom
the
is
gate.
not a smart man, but could 1,000 gnolls fit in that building?
I don't
Oh,
think
I don't
so.
know.
It almost sounds like there's a smith working in the other one, so we do have some noise to keep.
Garrus, I think you jest.
We do have noise to keep them from hearing us kill the gnolls at the gate if we're careful enough about it.
All right. I suppose let's make our way off this cliff then.
We all jump.
No.
So what's your plan?
Sounds like our
I
plan's
say-
basically go straight across the drawbridge.
Yeah, I
Alright,
say we move down the cliff
Bridge.
on the east side of the castle, keeping close to the wall. And I'm saying this to Blood Moon as well. That we make our way down the cliff on the east side, keep close to the wall just in case anyone can see us. And then you said you had a plan, so does that
I do.
involve filling us in, or would you just like to go?
So as I understand it, you're going to kind of move down, and then you're gonna move down this way, and then kind of approach it from this direction.
Yes.
Once you hit the ground level.
Yes.
All right.
Gnolls are not smart creatures, and gnolls are ravenous creatures. I have learned to mimic and throw several different animal calls. I would imagine it would be fairly easy to lure them out by making the sound of something that they may want to eat. So if we can lure them across looking for the sound, then we should be able to kill them before they can raise too much of an alarm over the sound of the smith going.
Or shapeshift into a tasty buck.
Sounds good to me.
You lose somebody?
Jeremy, it looks
them
like.
off.
Okay,
Vaughn was like, there's too much talking of this plan.
I'm gonna move you to a map.
Yeah, it looks like we lost Jeremy off of Roll20.
You did.
All right, you are working your way now along the cliff, kind of hugging the cliff, and there is some woodland and stuff that grows along the cliff face, and you can see now you're on the eastern wall and tower of the castle. You guys are all loaded, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So you were looking so here's the cliff, obviously to your north, and you were looking down at the castle before, and now you're looking at the eastern wall of the castle, which is now blocking your view, obviously. And there's the southeastern tower that is the most fallen in and collapsed of the bunch over here. And there is a fair amount of trees and foliage growing along the edge of along the edge of the cliff. Gives you a little bit of cover as you're working your way along. You really can't see into the wall's too high, so you can't see what's going on inside the courtyard from this vantage point. It's just too, without climbing the wall and looking in, you can't see anything.
Jeremy is experiencing hotel internet issues.
Okay. I know he's no longer in his government provided house.
Blood Moon, would you want to take point?
That's fine.
You just let us know
Gonna
where you
go
want us to
quietly.
be.
Okay. You're working your way through the woods. You never did see anybody, on these walls. They weren't really of the width that would have patrol on top of them.
I'm still staying to the trees to make sure that.
Sure. So
I
Bloodmoon,
can-
looking at the wall, I mean, it is climbable by somebody who's good at climbing. A lot of the stones have fallen out and have shifted a little bit to give you a place where you can put a finger or a hand or a boot on and try to clamber up it. It would not be. It'd be slightly challenging, but it would not be impossible to do.
All right. I'm going to continue down along here.
I assume that you're sneaking somewhat as you do this.
Yes.
All right. I mean, you haven't really seen anything. It would take a very bad stealth roll to trigger anything, but anything's possible.
Is that a challenge?
The gauntlet has been thrown, sir. The
This
gauntlet
one
has
that has fallen in or had the most falling in. Does it look like we can get in anywhere on this?
It's still mainly the roof has fallen in, and from what you could see, maybe the upper floor collapsed, so it's now a shell. But it is still, a good 20 or more feet of tower there.
Okay.
But the top, the roof fell in, and from what you could see, the second floor fell in, leaving the shell there and probably some debris at the floor of it. But it's not a means of entry that you could see. Barnaby, well, nicely done, sir.
That
wait,
is
are you
a
at
5.
disadvantage?
I'm
That's a 5. Yes, you are at disadvantage. Of course you are.
All right. Well, Blood Moon is going to. You said it's 20 feet?
Sure.
He's going to attempt to scale it.
All right. Give me a roll.
Athletics?
That is a climb check. Yes.
Boom!
Why?
Fuck this wall.
Wow.
The abs have it.
Yabs.
All right. You get up there and climb that wall.
Saris is going to look
And
at
I
you
gotta
very
go
frustrated.
another channel for this one, Tony, because this is I gotta hear you convey this to them.
Of course.
All right.
So DM
He
There
falls
there
off
they
the
go.
wall, pincushioned by
And
arrows.
he's gone?
Good luck, everybody. I'll
My-
see you in hell.
Yeah.
I guess Devin wasn't going to pull.
There we go. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting down here like, what the fuck are you doing? We didn't discuss this.
Yeah.
This was his
like,
plan.
okay, I'll
I
just
asked you.
come over here and peek around the corner and see what we see.
I'm just going to get right there to where he is, looking very frustrated.
I mean, he's an elf. What do you
You
expect?
said you'd tell us the plan.
He's an elf. What do you expect?
I don't know.
I must have cut Jeremy off. I've been sucking up all the bandwidth. You cut off.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, it is 9:30, so Devin might have him come back and explain what's going on, and then call it for the night before we go in and actually get into an encounter in this keep. That's what I mean. It's because we're down a person, and last time we called it around this time.
Well, I'm not sure the barbarian would have the patience to sit here and just wait while the elf is like, I'll be right back, and disappears. He'd be like, wait, what? And then he'll probably go storming around the corner.
So,
Blood Moon
he goes
scales back down the side with
Yep.
ease.
up, and you see him kind of like his blinks a few times, and you kind of hear kind of a weird little noise. Not a little noise. It's kind of a deep, sort of animal, odd noise that you can't place. Come from within that shell keep, and Blood Moon kind of just sort of backs away from the edge and carefully climbs back down, and turns and faces you.
Well,
You get that out of your
interestingly-
system?
Interestingly enough, that tower is a roost for a giant raven.
How giant exactly are we talking?
Well, you've seen a horse.
Yes.
It's about the size of a carriage that's usually attached to the horse before the wingspan.
Oh. Oh.
And I have a feeling that it's sitting on an egg.
So it's not going to be particularly happy if we go in there, I imagine.
We should
you think that-
probably avoid that area. I could take the time to try to communicate with it, but we are pressed to deal with this situation now. So I would say that leaving the bird to its own devices would be the best course of action.
Can we just shove the gnolls in there?
It looks like all of it is collapsed, which is
Oh.
all the exterior is collapsed, which is why this has not been. If the either the gnolls know it's there and haven't been able to get to it, or the gnolls, or it's in there and just not worried about the gnolls because they can't get to it.
Okay. Well, we'll just leave Mama Bird there. I don't feel like being the worm.
Probably a bad idea.
Okay.
All right.
We
I'm
could
going
go
to-
around.
Yep, I'm going to continue.
All
All
right.
right,
So,
I'm going to hold up right there.
all right. Make a stealth roll as you come around the corner there, because you can see them. Therefore, they have the ability to see you. So I'm assuming you're just kind of hugging the wall until you can kind of there he is.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Not you, Barnaby. Just good. He's trying to stay. Oof, that's not a very good stealth roll.
No, I can't see them.
Okay.
They can see, if they can see me.
Yeah. So if you move there, they can't see you. They can see you. You can
Okay,
make a quick
gotcha.
peek. I'll give you an advanced stealth roll. You can make another roll on that.
Well, I can guarantee it won't be any better because I'm on basic ground and not on. I'm not standing on Earth. I'm standing on
You're staying on Earth.
fucking tile.
No, you're not. It's just you're on dirt.
All right. Well, so I move forward.
You move forward till you can see the knoll.
Right.
You are on Earth. The maps are kind of overlapping with different tiles and stuff that I put down, but
Okay.
you're on dirt. You're in dirt and grass.
All right. From here.
Well, you did make a 6 stealth, right? I mean, that's what you
Yes.
made. All right. I mean, their passive perception isn't that bad. So
No. If I see that they've noticed me, I'm going to jut back to the side. This may still work to our advantage because they may
Okay.
not know what they saw. So I'm going to jut back, and then I'm promptly going to use.
you do see. Well, well. Okay. You hear footsteps begin to go across that drawbridge.
All right. Well, I am going to make the sounds of a pig coming from right here as I back up.
Okay.
It's coming.
What is that?
It's coming back up.
What is that thing that disappeared? Say.
I think is
The
it
sound.
maybe supposed to be Vom?
It might be Vom coming in, yeah.
Okay. You hear footsteps of more than one creature beginning to cross the drawbridge, and
That's fine.
They seem to be having a conversation. And I don't play things with bazillions of multiple languages. I think that humanoids speak, coarse common. What did you see? I don't know. He was small and skinny. Would not make for a good meal, but I think he was alone. The other one kind of chuckles evilly. Well, we'll have some fun with this one.
I keep making the oinking noise right about there, and as I hear them getting closer, I'll start making the oinking noise right here.
I hear a pig. Was it a pig? No, I don't think it was a pig. Looks like a little. I thought it was a little skinny man. What I saw. Well, it sounds like a pig.
I'm going to start making it sound like it's coming from over here. I give the get ready signal. Oh dear, sweet baby Vom, where are you?
I don't think his tokens. Oh, his tokens way at the top. Come on.
You can do it.
Move it down here.
Is Jeremy in the game?
Yeah, he's here. His token's in the top right.
Okay.
He's in Discord, but he's muted.
All right. They're coming around the corner. They're coming down here, sort of heading that direction.
I've been having a very lengthy dialogue with myself.
Aw.
They seem to think they only saw one person, and now they're arguing about whether it was a pig or not. Because the other one said, "Well, I hear what? There's Vom. Vom's not there, unless Vom is there." So that's about where they are. You guys hear them coming closer, arguing about whether it was a pig, and the other one
Big
says,
noises here.
Other one says he's pretty sure it was not a pig. He saw it for a second. It was not a pig. And they are having a discussion about that and kind of walking sort of in unhurried fashion your way.
I'm readying my bow. As soon as the second one comes into view, I'm gonna fire.
Is that where you guys are positioned right now?
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll ready my longsword for whomever comes. If they walk around the corner, I don't know if they can see me, but if they manage to walk around the corner, if I can surprise one and whack it.
You see them now.
Excellent. I do see them now.
Yeah. So whenever they got into view, like right there, probably you start to see about right there. So we'll take it right there. Do you guys want to break now or continue and finish this fight, or what do you guys wish to do?
If it's just a couple gnolls, we should be able to wipe through them.
At this moment, it's just
with Vom.
So just a moment, it's just
there's
two.
a whole castle, so I think
Why
this
don't we
is a
go?
good stopping point.
Okay, let's stop at this point and conclude because there'll be more stuff to follow. So it's
Absolutely.
about 5 in the evening. You have a few more hours of daylight. The gnolls have been lured into your clever trap. Although they're not quite completely unawares. So I might not give them, I might not make a complete surprise. I think that they're still on guard. They're not being dumb about it.